Okay, the next example that she gave you was the one of the bicycle that you sold for 475 Rand. But just to show you again with the numbers, just to make sure when you have to use what, we are going to use the same method. So I'm going to show her example, just explain it to you so that you can see. And again, the questions, basically you have to determine was it a profit or a loss, and then also percentage wise. Again, I'm going to use exactly the same words. So I'm going to first see from the sentence, what did I pay for it when I bought it, and then what did I sell it for. Okay, to get that information, remember the buy, when you bought it, that's the first one you have to start with. Okay, so going back to your sentence, a bicycle cost 500 Rand and was sold for 475. So the original price was 500. That is what I spent on it. Okay, and then to sell it, I received 475. Now look at the calculation that takes place. Here the bigger number was the one that I started with, and then just do the same calculation. Do I have to add or do I have to subtract? And that will tell me was it a profit or a loss. In this case, the bigger number was the first one, so that is the bigger value. So to get to the selling price, I had to subtract. And what is the difference between these two numbers? And that was 25 Rand. So I made a loss because it's a negative thing. I lost money. So that is the way you are going to say that it was a, or that you will be able to tell that it was a loss. Okay, but now to calculate the percentage, I'm going to use exactly the same method that I used with the profit. The first value, so the one that I bought, that is, or the, when I bought the bicycle, it was 500 Rand. And now the difference, although there's a minus, with a profit it was a plus, but that is just to say if it's a profit or a loss. But I'm going to use the value to get to the other number as the numerator. To be able to do the percentage, I'm going to complete my sum with 100 over 1. Now to go back to the fraction simplifying and multiplication again, I can simplify this fraction. You'll see that the numbers are big, so there's different ways I can simplify this. You can choose which one you want to use. Sorry. So I'm going to say divide by 25 top and bottom, so this is going to be 1 over 20. So 25 over 500 is 1 over 20. Still multiply with 100 over 1 because I need the percentage. Okay, and then from there, my numerators, I'm going to multiply with each other, and then the denominators. Then I get a fraction, and then from there I'm just going to simplify. So I'm going to say 100 divided by 20, and that is going to be 5%. And that is the value that she got on her example. Okay, you can follow this one or the one that she showed you. Just don't get confused with which numbers must be the denominator and the numerator. Okay, to show you another one, I bought a shirt for 150 Rand and sold it again for 75 Rand. So now again, from this information, I'm going to see first when I bought it, or when I buy the shirt, and when I sell it, what values am I going to use. Okay, first of all, I bought it for 150 Rand, but when I sold it for 75 Rand. So again, and use these arrows, no one's going to think you're not clued up if you do these calculations somewhere on a paper or on your exam paper, doesn't matter. 150, how did I get to 75? In this case, I subtracted 75 Rand. to get to 75 again. So I made a loss of 75 Rand, and the fact that I had to subtract tells me it's a loss. Okay, now to do the calculation, and remember I said the first value is the denominator, and then my difference between the two, the 75 Rand, is going to become my numerator multiplied by 100 over 1 to get the percentage. Now I can go and simplify this one again, or I can cancel out here, or I can just multiply and then simplify. So let's just make it easy or quick. Just say divide by 15, divide by 15, and that's going to be 5 over 10 multiplied by 100 over 1. And then what you can also say is, because 75 is the half of 150, then you can also say it's a half, or just keep on simplifying. Then it's going to be a half times 100 over 1. Numerators, denominators multiply, so it's 100 divided by 2, and that's going to be 50%. Okay, to look at the last one then. Okay, I have a cell phone that I bought for 500 Rand, and I decided to sell it for 450 Rand. Again, look at your information and then decide from there. And if you do this way, then you're going to see, you can determine the profit or the loss, and then also do the calculation of the percentage. Okay, so first I buy and then I sell. Okay, I bought it then for 500 Rand, so that's going to be my first value, and then my second value is going to be 450. Now to answer the question, is it a profit or a loss, I'm just going to look at the difference. The bigger number is at the front, so I have to subtract a value of 50 Rand. So that means I made a loss of 50 Rand. But now to do the calculation of percentage, I'm just going to make my own sum, create my own sum there. So my first value, what I bought it for, is going to be my denominator. The difference between the two is going to be my numerator. Then divided or multiplied by 100 divided over 1. And then I can simplify this whole sum, multiply, divide, or simplify this one. Okay, let's simplify by dividing by 10 by 10. That's going to be 5 over 50. There are shorter ways that you can also use. Just divide by 5 again. Then it's 1 over 10 multiplied by 100 over 1. So then it's going to be 100 divided by 10, and that is going to be 10%. So in this case, when I sold the cell phone, I made a loss of 10% on the whole purchase and selling of this. Okay, during the weekend I'll send you the activities or the other explanations of the other activities that I'll also break up for you, and then you can use the examples to do the activities. Just to go back to the activity that she gave you, sorry again about the Afrikaans one, but this is just to show you, you have to look at the values. So you'll see, just to show you the values, here the 900 and there the 1080. Don't get confused with the bigger and the smaller one. Just go according to what the cost price was and what they sold it for, and that is according to that you have to do the profit and the loss, and then also what is the numerator and what is the denominator of the different ones. Okay, then if you do this activity according to the examples, then when you get the memorandum, you can just mark and see if you understand it properly or your calculations was right or not.